Go. Welcome to Podnutz episode number 59, the roundtable computer repair tech show where we bring computer repair topics to the table. We talk about them, see what each other's doing in our computer repair business, what kind of tips and tricks and secrets we have, and we will divulge. Try to help any of you techs out there who want to fix computers, give you something to work with, and let you guys know what our successful actions are. And then we're going to do a round of tips to give you guys some quick tips afterwards as well. So let me introduce the guest hosts for today's show. First, we have Max Monty from maxmtechnology.com. Hey, Max.
Evening, gentlemen.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, doing great. Glad to be here.
Glad.
Part of this great community we got going on here.
Hey, man. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Bryce Whitty from technibble.com. Hey, Bryce.
Hey.
How's it going with you?
Yeah, not bad. What about you?
Not bad. Not bad at all. Can't complain. Usually I can, but tonight I can't. So that's a good thing. Well, thanks for joining us. And lastly, we have Steve D'Amico from smdcomputer.net. Hey, Steve.
Hey.
Oh, good. We could hear you. I was worried. When silence comes from Steve D's end, that's always cause to worry. Steve's not a big fan of silence, I don't think.
Hey.
And I'm sorry. You deserved it. But so what we're going to do is we're going to go around, we're going to share some tech tips, and also, I also wanted to make a quick announcement too. If anybody is a fan of Podnutz, we're doing an episode of Podnutz Daily tomorrow. It's episode number 300. I'm going to announce this at the end of the show as well. But before I forget, I just wanted to throw it out there. The 300th episode, it's going to be fun. We have tons of voicemails you guys have left of all the tips and stuff that you guys have learned through Podnutz and whatever else you wanted to say. So I have a ton of voicemails to play for the special episode. We have a ton of guests. It's going to be like a celebration. So check that out. It's tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, Max, what do you want to talk about this week? What would you like to bring to the show?
Alrighty. It's kind of something that's been going on in the forums, and it was touched, well, the last show was kind of touched about it as well. A lot has to do with, starting your business, getting organized. There was a posting in the forum where someone was considering getting a business loan, so that way, they could go out and buy their equipment. And, that's kind of some of the, I think we probably should go over, kind of give our insights on how each of us even got started with their business, because that seems like that's something that, there's the new guys that are coming on, or, even some of us that's been doing it for a while, kind of a refresher or get some ideas off of that.
I think it's a great idea. You want to start us off? How did you get started?
Okay. I'm still doing this as a part-time gig. This July will be 2 years that I've been doing it now. And, the thing that really kind of spurred me again for wanting to get refreshed and getting, get my direction reorientated was after I was doing my QuickBooks. Yes, that's QuickBooks.
Okay,
and,
so we know you use that now.
Getting that ready for my for my taxes to turn over and stuff, and I knew I did pretty well, but whenever I saw the bottom line, after everything was done, I was like, damn, I need to get my business together so I can do even better, because I was pleasantly surprised with what I had brought in, and a lot of it did go towards equipment, inventory, parts and stuff like that. So that. I guess what I'm getting at is, you don't need a whole bunch of stuff to get started with. I think maybe some guys that are just getting started kind of think that, you need to get, a bunch of, 2 or 3 computers, some hard drives to do, client backup, a hot workstation, all this just different equipment. Whenever I got started, I just took what I had in my shop, or not necessarily what in the shop at the time, but out in my shed or off of my computer desk, and just went with that. And over time, as I gained more clients, earned more money, and I would build off of that. So as far as getting a business loan, I don't remember who had posted it up in the forum, but I think especially if if it's a part-time thing, you really want to try to avoid that because, coming into a business that, you're getting fresh off, you don't want to start already in the negative. And
I happen to agree with you. I think it's good advice, and I'll tell you how I started, but I'll let all you guys go first, and then I'll do mine last. Bryce, what's your recommendations for this area getting started? Like, do you need a loan, or is it smart to get a loan, or how would you start?
I don't think you need to get a loan. Well, you probably shouldn't start. For me, I didn't. I started with a bit of money in the bank. Like you could probably do it with as little as $1,000. I suppose if you don't have that, you could get a loan. But as Max said, you sort of really don't want to start it off on that sort of foot. I mean, there's lots of things that are ideal to have when you are starting a business. A test PC, maybe a laptop on site, a few other things, a lot of testing gear. But if you had to get it right down to the absolute bare essentials, you could almost get away with just a screwdriver set, some CDs with some repair tools on it, sort of like Process Explorer, auto runs, and maybe a boot CD, UB CD4Win, maybe some Linux builds, and other than the obvious things of registering your business, making sure you're set up legitimately, you can really get away with just those bare minimums, just to start off. But obviously, once more jobs happen, then you will probably start to need a few more extra things like testing equipment.
Right. Interesting. Okay, that's advice from Bryce. Steve D, what do you think?
Well, I could kind of. I think the best advice. I think everybody is going to agree. Getting a loan or spending money before you make money is not always a great idea. I don't think it really matches this business. There's plenty of potential to make money as you go. I mean, laying out a little bit of money beforehand is makes sense, of course. Like getting some of that bench equipment together, like just a simple PC, calling it a bench system, or a simple laptop like a netbook, bringing it on a site, that kind of stuff. I mean, I think that stuff is kind of obvious, but outside that, I don't see why anybody would have to get a loan. I mean, I guess if you're having a retail location, if you're mobile, there's no real reason, at least in my opinion. Maybe advertising or something. I don't know, but I don't think it makes sense totally. Well, I can tell you what I did though. What I did initially was I wasn't getting clients, so I decided. And I wanted to learn laptops, so in order to learn laptops, I bought broken laptops off of Craigslist and eBay, and I would tear them down. My idea was to buy them broken and sell them fixed, and I was doing it okay for a little while. I'm just stumbling along the way. I was breaking them as I was trying to fix them and doing all sorts of awfulness with them. But the education was invaluable. Now, like I don't know how many years later, I'm really pretty good at laptops, and that was my initial education.
Cool.
And that's kind of how I started more than anything, because I mean, other than of course just going door to door, when I get called from advertisements, I mean, everybody does that. That was my unique path.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think I'll tell you what I did. I think I think we're all on the same page on this, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. I mean, the reason I actually got into computer repair, one of the reasons was I needed money. I was dead broke. I had bad credit. There was no way I could have got a loan if I wanted to. But I did know one thing. I had a car, and I could drive to people's houses, and I think it's like Bryce said, I had a screwdriver, a pack of CDs, and my car, and that was it. And I threw up a website. I turned on Google AdWords. I said, I'm a computer repair guy. This is what I charge, and my phone number. I got people calling me. I went to their house. I fixed their computer. I had nothing. I had nothing in the bank. I did not get a loan. I didn't have parts. And I'm just saying that this is possible to start that way. It might not be optimum. If one of my customers needed a hard drive and I didn't have it, I'd say, well, yeah, sure. I'd love to replace your hard drive. No problem. And I'd go run to Micro Center. I'd buy it. Sometimes right then. So I didn't have stock, which would have probably made things more convenient, but I didn't have stock. I didn't have RAM. I seriously had nothing. And it built up from that point. Now, it's like you said, Steve D, say you want to start a franchise, right? You already have a business plan and a business model. You know your business is probably going to succeed if you follow this plan. You might, having stock and getting a loan to set everything up might be part of what you need to do, but it's not a requirement. So I'd like to just encourage anybody who doesn't have a lot of money and doesn't want to get a loan. You can definitely still start this business with just some bare essentials.
Well, I think there's a misunderstanding between of a lot of people out there. They believe that they could just get a loan from nothing, and that's completely untrue. You actually have to have some form of an asset to actually put up as collateral for a loan. So if anybody out there is considering, say, I don't know, saying, oh, I'm going to get like a loan and then start this business, what do you have that's worth that loan? Because you have to have something,
right?
And something that the bank will actually think of as being legitimate. If you own a car outright, then yeah, you can put that up as collateral. If you have some kind of inventory already that's paid for, house something. Right. For anybody thinking about getting a loan, you're gonna have to at least have something.
Right. I mean, I couldn't get it, but you're right. Definitely, there is some requirements, but you don't know. The bank might be generous that day.
I don't think so.
If you were jumping in the deep end with going straight to starting your own business, as in pretty much I'm quitting my day job to follow my dream of being a computer technician, you also need to remember that loan also needs to cover your lifestyle. Like a lot of people have to wait up to 6 months before they're sort of getting equal to what they were getting on their 9-to-5 job.
Right.
So it's not just the startup costs for advertising, business cards, and the few tech things you need. It's also you got to support your lifestyle as well. You need to eat until you actually start getting some decent income.
Well, that was my lifestyle. Survive, eat. That was my lifestyle. I was happy to eat. So
instant noodles.
Yeah, I had that for a while. Gosh,
I did that.
I mean, if that's not motivation enough to get a booming business, I don't know what is. Ramen noodles. But it's a good point, Bryce. I mean, some people have lifestyles they would like to maintain making the transitions. That's a key point.
That and mom's house. Just go to mom's house and just say, hey, how you doing? And then there's always food. Always food always follows.
That's definitely the way it is. All right. Any last words on this one, Max?
And check with your local chamber of commerce. They have people that will sit down with you and help you develop your business plan, help you, line out what you need to do. Also, there's some organization that's called SCORE, and I can't remember exactly what it stands for, but basically what it is it's other business members in the area. They volunteer their time for this organization, and they range from businessmen to bankers to whatever. Several different careers, volunteers work there, and they'll get with them, see what they got to allow. Because when I sat down with my local chamber rep, and we were talking about doing a small business loan and stuff like that, he was like, it's really a waste of your time, more or less, just because it's a pain in the butt. They make it sound easy, like all these different programs that they have that you see and stuff out there, and of course a lot of them are hoaxes, and they're just trying to get your information. So
yeah, good advice. I have not checked out SCORE. Oops, Steve D, I'm losing you on vocals. Bryce, anything else you want to add to this before we go on to the next topic?
No, nothing on this topic, but something completely off topic. I love Max's hat and headset. It reminds me of the Scout from Team Fortress 2.
I have not yet played it. Do me a favor, Max, because is that a Plantronics, first of all? Which is
yes,
awesome.
it is.
It's an awesome headset. Move it a little bit away from your mouth towards the side, and then your vocal will be perfect. Try that.
All right, how's that?
That's good. All right, Steve, just unplug that thing and plug it back in. You're not getting nothing. I'm just getting sidelining from you, Steve D. All right, let's go over to Bryce. Bryce, I know I put you on the spot, and I asked you like literally 20 minutes before the show, but do you have anything that you wanted to bring?
Something I've been working on, and it's something I suppose you could apply to any business. Is something I've been changing my business is I'm really trying to be much more effective than I used to be. What sort of happens is after a while you fall into a certain routine where you might check emails, say once an hour, for example. And you go through these cycles, like you might work on a client's computer, then you'll go back to checking your emails, and then you'll look online and maybe check your AdWords stats, and you get caught in this cycle where you're just constantly doing these things. But I found that if you sort of limit things, like say do email only once a day, just batch it all together, you can be so much more effective than just sort of going through that cycle. A lot of people sort of they like being busy for the sake of being busy. It sounds bizarre, but if you can sort of bring it all together, sort of batch things, you can just get so much more done.
Yeah, it's true. Busy work. It's like people think they're getting something done, but they're really not. They feel like they're getting a lot done, and they're actually not. So what do you recommend? Just doing everything as a batch? Do you have any software or tools for that, or?
Batching. I have a few email. There's a program. What's it called? A Thunderbird add-in called Quick Text, and that allows you to use canned emails. And a lot of the stuff I get from my clients are the same questions. So, I mean, they're not completely robotic sounding things. They do sound like they're almost personal, but that's one thing that can help speed it up.
Oh, cool.
Some tasks I've completely eliminated completely. This is more with things like with Technibble itself. A lot of people lose their business kits. The product they buy it like years ago, and they either lost it on their hard drive or formatted or something happened.
Right.
And got a developer to write me up a script that checks. They enter in the details about themselves, and it checks to see whether they paid or not, and then just gives them a copy. Whereas I used to be getting quite a few a day just to replace them. So elimination is also a good thing if you can do it. Also, I've been outsourcing a bit, and I used to be sort of a bit almost scared of outsourcing. It can be a bit more expensive, obviously, because you've got someone else to do it. But when you outsource the things that aren't your essential, what the main thing that you do, you can actually you can be so much better at your core thing. So if you're the server guy, but you've got to worry about all sorts of other things like your AdWords marketing, outsource it to someone who does AdWords marketing. They're obviously really good at it because that's all they do, and the amount of money that you pay them to do the AdWords marketing, it's because they're completely dedicated to it. The amount you pay, it comes back, tenfold. It's the amount you pay is it works out to be less. So it's basically, sorry, I get a bit confused. Basically what I'm saying is by getting someone else to do it, only paying a bit for it, because someone's dedicated to it, you get better results, and you end up earning more money, even though you're sort of scared of handing out the little bit to outsource something.
Right.
It works excellent.
Really, because I mean, you're dealing with a professional.
Yeah, well, as technicians, people outsource to us. They can try poking through, trying to remove their own virus and reading all sorts of guides, but they outsource it to a professional. We're not that expensive, and we can do the job right. And if your client's a lawyer or whatever, he can go back to being a lawyer and making hundreds when he's only paying us $90, for example, and he earns $300 for an hour. Right.
Where did you say you found your AdWords guy?
I don't outsource my AdWords stuff. I still manage that self. Marketing stuff I keep to myself, but things like servers and stuff, one of my biggest concerns when I was away from the computer is always I have a few dedicated servers happening, and these things go wrong when I'm unable to actually get to a computer. It's just sort of Murphy's Law with that one. But these guys know a lot more about servers than me, and they monitor them. I'm actually on sort of a maintenance plan with them, and basically I pay them a little bit and they fix a problem before it even happens, and I go back to doing what I'm good at. Yeah, that's smart. It's actually my weak spot. Steve D, are you back with us? Just checking.
How do I sound?
You're good. You're good.
Really? Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. That's my problem. I try to do everything myself, and it's not a smart thing to do.
Well, how about insourcing? I'm getting a lot of insourcing work. I found out that a lot of the DC jacks that I've been doing, the that a lot of people are looking for that kind of work. So I've been doing it for other techs.
Right. Well, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So how do you go around getting that business? And by the way, we don't have your video. How do you go around
Yeah.
getting that business?
Well, initially it was really kind of easy. What I did was I went to I just drove over to another shop looking for another part, and I just asked them. I said, "Well, you guys do DC jack work here?" And then the guy said, "What are you talking about?" And then I was like, "Well, the power ports." And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, we just get another motherboard, and we tell them it's too expensive to repair." And I was like,
Nice.
"Well," someone was like, "Well, I do that work, and I could do it. I could do it for you." And then they're like, "Oh, really?" And then they, of course, naturally, they just had one system just sitting on the bench that's not necessarily customers. They go, "Oh, this is like a friend's, or this is mine," or meaning like they acquired it through a customer at some point that doesn't need it
So
anymore.
they're gonna test your skills with it.
Yeah, so that's how I started with the first one that I did this with, and he gave me one system and said, "All right, let's see what you can do," and I fixed it right away and brought it back, and they were like, "Okay, here's two more," and then I was like, "All right," and then real quick, and then that over time now I've built a relationship with them, and I've made sure there's a few now there's other guys out there that can do the work that I'm doing, but I've made myself as convenient as humanly possible. I make sure that I get the job done within like 3 days. I make sure I hand deliver it. I make myself as absolutely convenient and easy to deal with as possible. This way they don't have a reason to go anywhere else.
Are you getting a fair price for them for your
Yes.
the jobs?
Yes, my old price right now, my old rate is currently my rate for them. So,
Right.
and so I'm doing really good with it. I just recently found another guy that doesn't have anybody doing it. Well, actually, he did. He was telling me that it was a guy that he was using that was taking it was about 2 week turnarounds. I was like, really? 2 full weeks? And he's like, yeah, well, the guy, usually takes him a couple days to pick the system up. Then he orders the part. Takes him a couple days to sit on his hands. He orders the part. The part finally comes. Then he gets to work on it within the next couple days. It turns out to be about 2 weeks. I'm like, well, I got him in stock, and I can get that done, next day. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm glad I met you.
Right.
And then and I naturally do that. So it's important to do that. I mean, you want people. A lot of people don't think that way. They don't think about that. They think of themselves or their own business. If you make yourself as convenient as possible, it's really easy to do insourcing.
Yeah. You know what? If you need the work,
Oh, who doesn't want more work?
somebody who's overloaded. But
Well-
that's the indicator to me that you need to hire somebody. So that's like the make break point when you start to overload yourself with actual real work, not just busy work where you're not making any
Yeah.
money.
Well, I think if anybody's really busy out there, I think that what they need to do is take a close look at what they're doing, and make sure they watch their time and see how they're using their time, and seeing where they can improve their rates, like where they can improve their times, like what's uncluttering their workflow, and seeing where they can actually make more, make more with more time, or less time. So, like for instance, with the DC jack work that I've been doing, and I've been doing a lot of it, I bought the jacks beforehand and I have them in stock. It's very difficult because I have at least about 45 jacks in stock currently, and I have multiples of a lot of those. So I have a whole inventoried out and all laid out nice, and so it's really easy to grab them. And
That's good.
but yeah, but I mean, I had to do that in order to make it
More
quicker
efficient.
and easier and
Yeah.
more efficient. Yeah. Otherwise, I would go crazy.
Right. Max, any words of advice for us on this topic?
That's probably the biggest thing. Just because you're moving and doing something doesn't mean you're accomplishing something as you're doing it. Periodically, I've tried to get into a habit to where I'm doing something, I just stop myself and say, okay, is this what I need to be doing? Is this productive? Is what's going to be the next item that I'm going to move on to? And then and whenever I started something new, I set a time frame. Okay, I think this will take me 30 minutes, so I'll set my time frame, and then try to, remember, 30 minutes. Okay, am I done with this? Did I get, off task? Because, it's really easy to get off task, especially when you're doing research on something. You have an issue with a computer, wanting to boot up, or you just can't get rid of a virus or something. You start Googling, and then, you Google, then, you're looking at something else, and then 15, 20 minutes later, you're like, what the crap? This isn't even related to what, I initially started. So, just, check yourselves, and, just get organized. That's what I'm in the middle of now. I'm about to now have my new shop done, and so as I'm moving over there, I'm trying to keep organized and get rid of extra stuff, and just make out a daily plan is a a good idea, like Bryce was talking about. Set aside time to do certain items, and then do those, and then move on. And time management, being efficient, using the proper tools, getting tools, be a better,
Be a better PC tech.
Yeah, his program. And see, and this is the thing, is pretty much everything he had in that video, the WSUS, the AutoIts, the all those programs, I had them downloaded, I had them installed, but guess what? I never, worked those into a schedule to where I made time to learn them.
Right.
Because, that stuff is, if you don't know it, you can find yourself, 2 hours into it and still not knowing what you're doing, because I was like 95% had my, WSUS, WSUS, however you want to call it, worked. I had it all downloaded, but I didn't know how to execute it. I got his video, I watched it, I was like, oh man, no doubt. So as soon as I did that and saw how easy it was, I blew through 3 systems in one night just using that program. Once I got all my updates and stuff, just boom, plug it in and just rolled through them.
Nice.
So it makes a difference. I mean, he's not asking that much for it, and you use it once and it pays for itself if you sit down and figure out the amount of time that it takes to do what you're doing, vice the cost of his product.
Yeah.
And the same stuff with Bryce's business kit. That was actually the first thing that I bought when I got started, because I was like, okay, I need documents. I know how I am. I'll sit there for hours and hours and write stuff out, and it still won't be. So I was like, I just forked over the money, got what I needed, and set it up to where anytime I need something, I'll just click on it, open it up, print it out, or I have pre-printed ones, and just streamlining, time management, getting a plan and going with it and sticking to it. 30 days is what they always say, to do something, to make it a habit. It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Spending money for something that's going to make you more efficient. It might not seem like it's a fun thing to buy at the time, but hell, it'll make you so much money. He's talking the Lalo videos he's talking about from our friend Lalo Nunez. You could actually get them at podnutz.com/bettertech if you guys want to check them out. And of course, Bryce's business Tech Nibble business kit. That's available anywhere. You can get on my site. You can get it at technibble.com. 2 things that will greatly increase your efficiency and help you work better. My 2 cents on just being efficient and getting things done. I mean, just an administrative tip that I've found through the years is, like, it doesn't even have to be computer repair related, but just this idea of you don't want to do double work. You don't want to see things twice. Like, if something comes to you, you could take a look at it and say, I'll do that later, or you could just do it now. If you just do it now, you'll save yourself a lot of time. Now, a laptop repair, okay, that might not be something feasible to do now, but like paying a bill or doing something, a small task, you don't want to take a small task, look at it, put it over here, and then let that stuff build up and then come back to it later, because you're basically doing double work. Do things as you get them. You know what I mean? As it comes to you, get it done, out of the way, boom. You don't even have to worry about it anymore. That's for more administrative type things. My advice for when you're actually doing repairs, sometimes I'd have to do like 3 or 4 laptop repairs in a row. And I don't know about you guys, but I cannot do that in a row. After one laptop repair, Jack, I have to take a break. So you take that break, can do your administrative tasks or little things in the break, then tackle the next laptop repair. In other words, don't kill yourself and make it so your eyes bleed at the end of the day, because you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna last. So those are some of my tips as far as that goes.
Yeah.
On Steve C's what he just said then in regards to burning out, I often have naps in the middle of the day, and people are like, oh, you're not working, you're not being very productive, you're having a nap in the middle of the day. It's like, well, sort of you might get 3:30itis where you're starting to really slow down, and then you sort of tough it out for the next 2 hours. But if you have like a 10-minute nap, you can actually be really productive for the remaining 1 minute 50 rather than be slow and sluggish for a whole 2 hours. So
yeah, exactly.
That's so funny that the pictures I'm getting of that, Bryce. You're just like Bryce has got
slobbering all over the place.
Got a little cot right in the office there. Turns a little sign around. Nap time. Now, how do you do it, Bryce? Do you have like do you work from home, or do you have the place of work, or how do you sneak a nap in?
I work from a home office,
Okay.
and being pretty much my own boss, I just go grab a couch and lie down. Sometimes the clients ring me, wake me up, but other times it's
Yeah.
I just don't see the point of sort of dragging through the whole day, being completely tired and not getting anything done, being slow, when you just have a 10-minute nap and you got the rest of the day back.
Totally. I was kidding. I mean, it's amazing how a short nap can just totally re-energize you.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know what else I like too is walks. If you walk around and just look at things, trees, the sky, buildings, and just walk around the block like twice, that helps too.
Yeah. Totally take a break from what you're doing. You're working on computers. A good thing, or I guess time schedule would be, maybe work 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute break. Get out and away from what you're doing. Get out, especially, whenever I was in the service, we worked a lot, of course, in an office under fluorescent lights or in dark rooms. Whenever I was doing my imagery stuff, and it makes a world of difference just to break and get out and get away from that, because like you're saying, like Bryce is saying, you just get sluggish, and you just slow down, just start making mistakes, and just running slow, and just a quick break, take a walk, whatever.
Yeah, don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
All right, Steve D. What do you want to bring to the table today?
Okay, here's an issue. This issue I've been having for a little while. Do I sound bad?
No, you're fine. I just had to put a placeholder in for you.
I think I had one of those in 3rd grade.
This is a Skype picture, actually. Go ahead, dude.
Okay. This is an issue that I've been considering for a while, and I've been kind of working on, but more recently I've been really hitting it hard and doing a lot of research on this. I feel as though there's going to be kind of like a wave of problems we're all going to see soon, or maybe we're starting to see it now, but I've been dodging this bullet for a little while. Clients are coming in, I'm sure you guys have noticed, with those new COA stickers at the bottoms of the laptops. They're coming in and they're worn off. You can't actually read the COA codes.
I'm seeing that too.
Yeah. Now I haven't gotten this customer. Now I've done reloads with those bad stickers before, but I've always been lucky enough. Well, they've been the ones that are lucky, actually, I guess. I've been lucky enough where I've been able to pull their key right out of their operating system before I do the reformat. But so far, I haven't been in a situation where it's a dead hard drive, where it's unrecoverable, and a bad COA where I can't read the sticker. So far, they've been lucky. Have any of you guys had that problem?
Yeah, totally. I had one like that the other day. Exact same what you're talking about. Hard drive was wiped. It couldn't. It wouldn't ever boot, and the sticker was rubbed off. Fortunately, it was a Dell. It was a Dell, so I had Dell OEMs, and
was it XP?
It was XP Home Edition.
Oh, okay. So they got really lucky. What if it was Vista?
Yeah,
Would you be stuck?
Windows 7. Time to upgrade.
Time to upgrade.
Okay. Well, there is actually something you can do, and it's legal, and where you can actually you can license their system, and it's completely legal, but it's not easy. And what it's I don't know, it's a little, this is a whole thing is a little bit new to me, but if anybody wants to do the research, people are going to have to do the research because there's no way I can explain the whole thing here. But in a general sense, and a lot of people are going to think that this is completely illegitimate, but it's not. The same process, we all have those Dell CDs. Everybody's got them. The Dell, the classic Dell XP disk that you pop it into the tray and you do the Windows install, and it reads the Dell hardware. And it recognizes that this is a Dell computer. It wouldn't have been sold without a license of Windows XP. And then what it does is it activates automatically offline. Now that process is actually in that process that was in XP and on that disk, that same process is on other disks, and it's on other systems. So there's other things. The code that's in that disk that makes it that Dell disk is actually it's actually downloadable. You can make other disks do that and make other brands work too. So the same process that you did with Dell, you can actually do with HP, you can do with Sony, IBM, Lenovo, you name it. I mean, E-Machines, all of them. Gateway, Acer, all the big names that you know of. They have to match, of course, the right operating system. I mean, and then of course the right edition as well. The code is called XP was called, I think, OEMs. It was some kind of OEM code. I'm not fully sure exactly how that one worked, but you can make those disks. The program to actually do it is called OEM Scan, and you get the files. You actually download. It's a whole process. You need to go to My Digital Life to do the research. You could find a databases of the right I don't know how to explain it, like the bin files that you need and to put onto the different manufacturers' disks, and then there's and then you actually have to put a key into the disk as well, which everybody thinks of the keys as being the license. It's actually not in this case. The license activation is the key has to match the software on the disk, and then the OEM information, and then it also matched the BIOS of the hard drive. And between the three of them, the key, the software on the disk, and then the BIOS, then when they all three match up and look good, then it'll activate offline during the install for XP. For Vista and for 7, you can actually do it after the installation is complete.
Weird. Are you guys following this?
I hope so.
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
I haven't done the process though before, but interesting.
It is at least I think it's very interesting. The Windows 7, there's a new thing called SLP 2.0, and it's certain BIOSes have this new kind of configuration where the activation is a lot easier. You can do it through a command prompt. This is possible to download the database of different I don't want to call it. It's a file, database of files that work with different editions of Windows 7 or Vista, and then of course you need the right key, and you can use the same key each time. It doesn't matter. The key is not the key isn't the part that really is the most important piece. It's kind of secondary. In fact, it's not licensing to the key. It's really licensing to the BIOS. It's saying, is this key like in that realm of, say, Dell? Okay, is this this is a Dell key, and then it goes, yeah, and then it reads the BIOS and it goes, this is a Dell BIOS, and then it goes, and then the actual little piece of software is this software basically for say Vista Home Premium, and then it goes, yes, okay, so this is Dell Vista Home Premium, this is Dell Vista Home Premium like key, and then it goes, this is Dell Vista Home Premium, this is a Dell hardware ID, done. And then it activates offline, and you can do it through a command prompt. It's all on there. And
cool.
I didn't.
What's the site? What's the site?
It's My Digital Life. Now, this process is 100% legal. There are illegal ways of doing this too, of course. I mean, and they actually feature that in some places on the site. I think that that's what separates professionals like us with the average Joes out there, average Joe little hacker guys trying to get Windows 7 Home Premium to just activate and work on their hacked boxes and stuff. That to me is risky and crazy.
You mean I can't buy the Adobe? I really can't buy the Adobe Master Suite on Craigslist for $10? Yeah.
No. Yeah, but so I've heard of tales where people have done not things like this, because this is legal and done, and you can do this right, and it will work forever, where people have used certain utilities illegal utilities to authenticate Windows wrong, and they use like a wacky key, and it's actually just the keys, the activator, and it comes up flagged one day, and some people would put this on like say 30 different systems, and they get bit, and that's happened to other techs before. I knew a tech once that he actually took the key from a corporation, and it was actually, I think it was a school actually, not a corporation, and ran around, and it was really early on before I actually started my business. He put it on, and I think it was Windows 2000. He just put it on a whole bunch of systems, and one day it came up flagged, and it wasn't good. It wasn't too good.
No. If the lesson is to be legit, and if we don't know this by now, then.
Yeah, absolutely. Technically, it's a legit. It's just not a legit way of doing it. But I mean, technically speaking, that person's license. If they have paid for the license, now it's worn off. Then really, they legitimately have it. They just lost it. Right. So, but the key is to get it done legitimately. So I don't. Is that interesting to you guys in your businesses?
I think it can be used. I have to listen back to it because you lost me. But
I lost.
But it seems like a good idea if you run into the situation that you presented it in the beginning.
Well, my fear, business-wise, is that I get a client comes in, pops the laptop down. They need a new hard drive because the other hard drive's completely done. I say, you need data recovery? They say no, and then I flip the laptop upside down, and there's no COA, and I say, okay, now what? And then now what? Charge them another extra $100 for the Windows 7, my cost. And I mean, that's not a bad idea. It's not a terrible idea. But what if they've maybe done that already?
Right.
Or what if what if they say, no, I don't want to spend. So my rate for reload is $120, right?
Have you? No, it makes sense. Have you done it yet?
Have I done the activation stuff?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Try it out. Let us know how it works, because I do think it's very valuable in that situation.
I will try it out. It's something I will definitely do. I haven't had the opportunity. I haven't been faced with this problem just yet. I'm gearing up for it.
Try it on your ThinkPad.
Yeah, I actually can do that. Yeah, because even my ThinkPad has a worn out COA, and I could definitely try. Yeah, I can definitely try it on this. But I need the problem is I need.
That thing needs a reinstall.
It might need to install. I can do the reinstall through VM.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's a good tip. Thanks, Steve D. All right, let's just roll around. Everybody give a quick tip, and then I'll read emails, and we got a voicemail to play, and then we'll end off. Starting with Max. Quick tip, Max?
Kind of, what we've been talking about. Sit down, take a few minutes out of some day. Everyone's busy doing whatever they're doing, with their business and their real job. But, sit down, figure out what you want to do, make a direction and a goal for yourself and for, what you want your business to be, where you want it to be. And, write those out and, shoot for those goals. Because, if you hit them, it makes you feel good. You feel like you got something accomplished, and ultimately it's going to make you a better PC tech, or whatever else you want to apply it to. And what we're all looking for, and it's going to make you some money. So
cool. I'll give my tip next to give you guys a chance to get one. I know I always spring it on you on the last minute. This is a tip that I'm actually writing a book on how to podcast on a totally separate subject. But there's a tip that I put in that book that applies to everything that I try to do, and I think that will be helpful to you guys. And it's simple, but it's so powerful. If you apply it, you're gonna do really well. And it's simply think big, like think huge. If you're thinking about starting up a computer repair business, or you're in your business and you say to yourself, I'd like to double my income for next year, okay, that to me, that's thinking small. Think that you want to 10x your income for next year, and really think about it hard. Think about how much money that you actually going to make, what you're going to do with that money, what you want to buy, what you want to invest in. Make it really real to yourself, and think huge. Think about like how many customers you want to have, how much money you want to make, how many jobs you want to do a day, how many employees you want to have, and where you're thinking to yourself, I'd be comfortable with maybe one employee, or I'd be comfortable making twice as much as I made this year. Take comfort and throw it out the window. Get out of your comfort zone and say, I want to make 10 times as much, and try to make those numbers comfortable for you. For some people, it's not comfortable to think that they're going to have $1 million in a year. It's just they can't have it in their universe. They don't. It's not comfortable. It doesn't make them comfortable to have that much money. What I'm saying is try to get out of your comfort zone and think with those big numbers. Because if you think with those big numbers, you have a really much better chance of achieving it than if you think small. So I'm just saying, think huge, think big. You might not make the $1 million, but maybe you'll make 500,000. Whereas before, if you're thinking small, maybe you'll make much less than that. So think big, think huge. It really works wonders. It's a missing step in a lot of people's plans, I believe. All right, Bryce, you got a quick tip for us?
Basically on what I was talking about a bit before is outsourcing. Don't be afraid to outsource. When you get your first few jobs, like when you're just starting, you're going to be really pleased just to get one call a day, and then you're going to have a few more calls a day to the point where your day's almost full up, and then it's going to reach a point where you just can't go any further. The amount of money you earn is unlimited, but your time is always limited. But once you start outsourcing, you can take a lot of heat off, and you can really get back to specializing and being really good at what you're good at. You can also outsource everything else and insource, like Steve D was doing, where in his era he may be the absolute star of the doing the laptop jacks, and he may not even have to advertise to the public anymore, because you could just go around to computer repair shops and just get all the stuff there, and it just makes your job a whole lot easier. You got everything you need right there, and you just have the jobs absolutely coming to you. So don't be afraid of outsourcing. Focus on what you're really good at.
Cool. That would be nice, wouldn't it, Steve D? You just don't have to deal with the general public anymore. You just deal with people, your peers. You're just dealing with your peers.
Oh, that'd be great. A windowless room, stark white, hot solder fumes.
20 white mice breeding in a 10-gallon container. Kind of an inside joke. Steve D was breeding mice for a while unintentionally in his office. But all right, man. What's your
in captivity?
What's your quick tip?
Me?
Yeah. What's a quick tip?
I missed that. My quick tip is this: if everybody, I assume that everybody. I'm going to assume that everybody out there has their own bench system for doing system tasks that you don't want to tie up other computers with, like just like a basic bench computer, doing imaging, data recoveries, things like that. I highly recommend it. You don't even need a really fast system to do it, and set one up. If you don't have one, definitely get one. If not, if you do have one, put log me in on there. It's what a great. What a great thing for me. I use it all the time. I love it. I'm so happy I did it. What I do is I log me in on there. I do say if I'm doing a data recovery or image transfers, whatever it might be that I actually do throughout the day. When I'm home, I can actually watch to see if it's actually finishing up or not finishing up, or data recoveries. My favorite is when you're doing a sensitive data recovery and your data recovery software asks you a simple question, stops the entire recovery process. That's wonderful. That's definitely a wonderful thing.
Wow.
But it's not as painful when you log in, take a look at it, and go, oh. And then click yes, continue, and then it continues the actual recovery, or lets you know the how well it's doing. Sometimes it zooms along, sometimes it takes 4 or 8 days. You never know. So I think everybody should put their bench system on remote.
Okay, great tip.
Good idea.
All right, let's play a voicemail here real quick, and then we'll read some emails. There's a voicemail. Going to play it right now. I'm not sure who this is from, actually.
Hey, Steve, this is Clifford over here in Walla Walla. I'm over here in Walla Walla City anyway. I was just listening to your show 56, Quick or Fresh. Has nobody ever heard of QuickBooks Online? I don't use it, but it is an option. I know some of the guys that were adamant about how QuickBooks is a pig and they like FreshBooks, but just something else to look at is the QuickBooks Online option. Thanks for the show. Talk to you later.
All right, that was on Clifford commenting
That's-
on Quick versus Fresh. He said
That's really
QuickBooks
that's
Online.
really a smart idea. That's really
Who's used it?
I have.
You have. And why aren't you using that instead of QuickBooks then?
It's more expensive online. Definitely a lot more
yeah.
expensive. But he's got a really good point. I never really thought of it that way. QuickBooks Online is a lot sleeker and simpler and easier to use. So it's a little more customized. It's not as customized. It doesn't have as many features, but that might be what some people are looking for.
Is it more than FreshBooks? Does it cost more than FreshBooks?
Less. Definitely less.
Interesting. I guess that's a viable option. Sure, that's great. Great voicemail.
I think if I was going to use QuickBooks Online, I think I might go FreshBooks instead. If I was going to go that route, I don't know. I would definitely put them up against each other.
Why do you say that?
It's just I don't know. If you want QuickBooks, get the software suite. I just think that you're going to go one direction. Go. I don't know. It's not. I was not why I would buy it, and that's why I'm not using it. I just thought it was kind of too simple.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's a good voicemail. Anyway, we didn't even think of that. And you guys have anything else you want to say on that before we read the next voicemail or email?
Does the QuickBooks Online, does that have any sort of iPhone applications or anything, or or I suppose you could just use it for the browser? But I know FreshBooks has an iPhone application, and something I love is pretty much anything on the iPhone. I mean, there's times when I'm standing in the post office just waiting to send something off and make good use of the time, and you can flip through the CRM or like something like FreshBooks or your email, that sort of thing. Does anyone know if QuickBooks has something like that?
I think QuickBooks has an iPhone application.
Yeah. You have to pay for it.
Yeah, we have to pay for everything with Intuit.
Everything, exactly. Yeah, that's why. I mean, the way I got my QuickBooks is I got a laptop that I use just for that purpose, and so I got logged me in on it. If I need anything, I'll just log me into it from my iPhone and do what I need to do. So,
that's an option too. Well, there's another $30 app.
That app quickly paid for itself, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really?
I'm going to get it for my Droid.
I have heard good things about it for people who have taken the step to get it. Bryce, you said you got it?
Yeah, I've sampled both the Log Me In one on the iPhone and also TeamViewer, and both of them work really well, like surprisingly well.
Really?
My old phone, I'm on the iPhone 4 now, but I was on the old 3G, which is pretty much the first. It's slow, and I was running it over the 3G network on the old 3G device, and it still ran fantastic. Didn't lag. Both of them are fairly intuitive. They both work great, like surprisingly well.
TeamViewer's free too, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's only for personal use, not commercial.
That's right. Cool. All right, next email here. It's from Ryan. He says, hey, Steve, came across this link today. Thought it might be interesting to bring up on Podnutz or Podnutz Daily. And the link is 5 free tools to customize and tweak Windows 7 installation setups. And I took a quick glance at the article here, and the website is intowindows.com. Intowindows.com. You could go there and do a search for 5 free tools, and you'll find the article. Check it out. It's definitely worth a read. There's some very cool tools here. I'm showing up on the screen now. But for those of you who want to check it out on your own, go for it. Thank you for the email, Ryan, who is Mind Melt, as you guys probably know him. Last email is from Steve. He says, Steve and Steve D'Amico, and I'm going to include everybody else in this, actually. I'm planning on opening up a computer repair shop in my hometown, Boston. Do you guys have any tips for what to look out for or do before I open? Do you have any tips to look out for or to do before I open? Thanks, and I'm a big fan of all your podcasts. Great job. That is a broad question, but
yeah.
You could do a whole show just on that question.
Yeah, seriously. Well, let's give him something quick. One What I would look out for is, do a Google search and find out what your competitors are doing. See who's around, see who's close to you, see what they're charging, do a little bit of research in that respect. And then, I have the tech website builder, and that's it. The reason I build it is for guys like you. I'm not just plugging a product, but I could answer this in a whole show, or I could give you a quick one-liner that won't be sufficient, or you could do what I have in the tech site builder. It's a techsitebuilder.com. And this is how I set up my business. I set up an AdWords account. I did it right. I have very targeted words. And then I made a quick website that advertises my business. And this way I set up a quick home business. And there's lots of different tips about the advertising and way to set up the site that I did. But that's my 2 cents. What would you guys like to give them?
I'd like to add something. The first part you said, which was doing the research. Well, first off, the tech site builder is excellent. I mean, it always worked really well for me. Everybody out there should get that, even if you're not really crazy about the website. Get the tech site builder so you could at least get your feet wet with AdWords and get it started. What I did for what you said, research your local businesses, go to Google. You have a Google account, I'm sure. Go to Google Maps and make a map of your competitors. You can put little pins as to where they are, how far they away from you. Put their rates into each one of those little pins, because you can add details. It's really easy to do, and see what your competitors are doing, how much they're charging, how far away they are, how well they're doing. Do they have shops? Are they mobile? Whatever, everything you can, and get a kind of a general picture of what are the trends in your local area. If everybody's charging $120 to do reloads, well, you know what you should be charging, Otherwise, you could be charging $80 and be cutting your own throat.
All right, because the people in the area are paying more. So it definitely pays to do the research, big time.
Definitely does, because you find little weird things. Like when I did my research, I didn't realize hardly anybody in my area was doing DC jacks.
There you go.
And I'm doing great with that. So,
any other guys quick tips on that, or?
Yeah, I got one. When you're starting out, watch your competitors' advertising, especially things like a local weekly newspaper. Watch to see what your competitors' ads. See which ones are there multiple weeks, because if it's there multiple weeks, then they're obviously it's obviously working for them. And same thing with Google AdWords. Watch it over a month or so, see what remains there, and if he's still there, then it's probably working for him.
That's totally smart. That's totally
probably
smart.
not a good idea with things that are yearly, like the yellow pages. Obviously, it can not work and be a complete failure, but they're stuck there all year.
Right.
But definitely the weekly stuff. Sort of just you don't have to reinvent the wheel with advertising. Look what they're doing and do something similar.
It's really smart. I mean, and when I was doing internet marketing back in the day, that was just a tip that applied to that as well. If you see an ad on Google and it's there every day and it keeps staying there and it's persisting, then the guy who put the ad there is making money. So, very good point.
Yeah, I put little notes for my competitors as to what ads I see and where they're coming from. So, like if a guy I see, if I see an AdWords ad a lot, I'll figure out who it is, and then I'll figure out where who it is, and then I'll put a little note, that on such and such day I noticed that I keep noticing the same ad, and that they're using AdWords, that kind of just quick notes. It might serve a purpose later on with different research, different plans and ideas.
Cool. Anything on you, Max?
Yeah, watch your competitors if you got them. Fortunate for me, my competitor is actually giving me business, so that works out for me.
Sure.
And know what kind of pretty much a lot of what we already covered in this show,
right?
And then go back and listen to every other episode of Podnutz before you get started. And you'll be good.
That's a great advice. That's a great tip too. No, I'm just saying, because you know what, that is like the road that I took and everybody took. I mean, it's like a chronological step by step of anyway, in the beginning of what I did right and what I did wrong. So yeah, it can't hurt. Definitely can't hurt.
Yeah. That's what I did, because when I started, I really had no idea other than I wanted to start. I got online. Somehow I stumbled across the Podnutz website, and then I ended up in the forum. First person I spoke with actually one night was door to door, and kind of talked to him a little bit. I don't know if he remembers that way back when, but and then just got into the community and started asking questions and reading and listening to this show. And there's several other tech podcast shows. Listen to those, and those will give you good advice. But
Absolutely. You reminded me too. Should have said this earlier. Take advantage of the community that Podnutz has become. There's forums which are just loaded with tips, and Google likes the forums too. I think that's how a lot of guys are finding out about the show now. Also, there's a TeamSpeak chat room that we've talked about in a couple shows. I'm going to post the credentials needed to get onto that in the lounge, so you can just jump on and talk to who's ever in there with your voice. Actually talk to them, ask them questions. We have the Podnutz Lounge, which is the chat room for the live shows right now. There's a ton of guys, knowledgeable guys in there that can help you out. Then there's TechNibble, which is huge and an amazing resource for any computer repair, especially business question. It between Podnutz and TechNibble, the guy I can't remember his name who sent us that email. Just keep listening and watching things on those sites, and you should be fine.
Yeah. One more quick thing is don't get in. He said he was doing it from home, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so one, there's a big cost saver right there.
Yeah.
But like Bryce was saying, as far as for advertising and stuff like that. And don't, if you're hesitant about something, don't execute on it. Come to the forum and throw something up there, and someone's going to answer it. Someone's always watching the forums. Someone's always there.
Definitely. Good stuff. Well, thank you. I want to thank all you guys on the call for coming on. I want to thank anybody who asked questions. And if you want to send us an email, send us a mail at mail@podnutz.com. You want to send us a voicemail, call 707-6-PODNUT on a regular phone, and we will get the voicemail and we'll play it. Max, where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you, or anything else you want to end off on?
Twitter's, I'm pretty active there, so it'd be at MaxTmon. I don't. I've got Twitter for my business, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want to use that. And my business website itself is maximtechnology.com, and those are probably the two best bets right there.
There you go. Bryce, any last comments, and where can people find you if they want?
No last comments, but obviously you can find me on TechNibble, TECHNIBBLE.com. I'm fairly frequently on the forums, so even send me a PM if you want. Great. And Steve D, how about you?
Best way to reach me is SMD Steve on Twitter, or you can check out my blog at stevendbco.com. Just don't Skype him, whatever you do. His video doesn't work. I know, Jesus. I'm going to keep ragging on him. It's just too fun. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and streaming. And that's it for Podnutz for this week, and see you next time.